Hi everybody, welcome to Shivers. Today we're reviewing the new movie Until Dawn that came out in theaters April 25th this past Friday. This is supposed to be based off of the Supermassive games Until Dawn. Last week I went through all of the Supermassive games. Those are those choose your own adventure style games. So if you want to hear more about the game, check out that episode. Today we are jumping right into the actual movie. Let me start by saying I didn't have very high expectations of this movie from the trailers. I have such a love and such a passion for the games. So for them to be turning it into a movie, it seems pretty easy. The layout's already there. The story is already written for you. The only difference is the choosing your own adventure type of thing. They didn't take that at all. This may as well been before dawn or after dawn, not until dawn. Like, it feels like a completely different story. It feels like it really has nothing but a sneeze of actual Until Dawn in it. So if you want no spoilers, go ahead to the end and hear the actual rating, the ranking. If you want to hear the story, here we go. So Until Dawn starts with this girl named Clover, already quirky, and she's looking for her missing sister named Mel. So it seems as though she and her friends have been going from town to town looking for her sister for quite some time now. So Mel pops up into Clover's dream and basically says, I'm at this random location, come find me. So she goes based off of her intuition. One of the other people in the friend group is this fake psychic, and so she's testing out all of her abilities, having them hold hands in these locations where Mel might have been, and basically saying, listen to your mind as if it's static radio, wait for something to pop in and maybe it'll be Mel. So they stand outside of this basically abandoned, very stereotypical horror gas station and hold hands, do this, and are interrupted by this horn honking. So Clover goes inside and we see the doctor from Until Dawn. So in all of those Supermassive games, you have these curators, these people who basically are like the cuts in the chapters. And for Until Dawn, it happens to be Dr. Alan Hill. This is the only really thing that's like the same, is that it's the same person who played in the game. So that was a nice touch. So he is the gas station attendant, basically says a whole lot of people go missing up here, right up at that house, basically right up the road is really the last place that a lot of people are seen. So if your sister's missing, there's a good chance that she's right along with the rest of them. So they drive through this terrible storm. They get to this house, and in this logbook is Mel, along with all of these other people. And the handwriting goes from normal to scratchy to completely incoherent. So all of them getting to about 13. So they walk through the house. First and foremost, the last date that's on the calendar is 1984. They flip on the lights totally work. They go into the bathroom, those lights don't work. They pull the handle for the sink doesn't work. But then they go downstairs, the water downstairs works. It's these inconsistencies that already from the get-go really, really, really bother me. I understand that we are in this almost supernatural-esque trap house, but the fact that some lights work, some don't, some water works, some doesn't, it's not enough to convince me that this place is anything but an imagination. So we're digging through the house and there's this hourglass. The hourglass starts to turn and we find out, very long story short, that anytime that this hourglass turns upside down, they have until dawn to survive. So night 1, night 2, night 3, they're all having these very gruesome deaths, popping back up, the hourglass reset in the same place that they were. Nina, one of the friends, signing the actual book, her handwriting getting worse and worse as, the night goes on. So they're trying to figure out what this place actually is, what's going on. The girl who is the fake psychic gets almost possessed by all of the people who have gone missing before, which was really the coolest effect out of all the ways that they've been in this house. And then they go outside and they're rummaging through all of these artifacts in the home. They go outside at one of the nights when the hourglass is upside down, and there's this old woman in this house across the street. Has nothing to do with the story, has nothing to do with anything. sucks Clover in. There's these masks that are in this house. She then has to basically dodge this old woman. These masks pop up later, all completely stolen from Cabin in the Woods. Not only the masks themselves, but this idea of rummaging through these houses and picking up these different artifacts and that being what kills you. I mean, it is a complete ripoff of Cabin in the Woods with just a little bit more of a slightly different storyline. So, because even in Cabin in the Woods, they have to survive until dawn. They have until dawn to kill everybody in that house or the end of the world. So, a little bit more dramatic for Cabin in the Woods, but for this, it's exactly the same. I mean, even so far as the people in the masks that manifest to life after they touch them are the ones that are doing this slashing with all these knives. The exact same way that these masked people come out of the elevator in Cabin in the Woods closer to the end. Even the same verbiage of one of the people, Max, in Until Dawn, is bashing this character, this creature of the night over the head. And he's like, why won't you just fucking die? In the same tonality, in the same verbiage as Cabin in the Woods. It's just absolutely insane. It's insane how much is stolen when you watch a whole lot of horror movies. It's so easy to pick it up. And the idea that this is supposed to be Until Dawn, it is not. It has nothing to do with the game at all. We then, as we continue in the story, find out not only are we stealing from Cabin in the Woods, but now we're starting to steal from Silent Hill. We find a newspaper article that this is a burned down mining town, this terrible accident. All of these houses have now sunk into the ground. So what they think is the basement in the house that they're in is actually the first floor, and these doors open to what would have been like the front door to this cave, this cavern, which is really ultimately their way out. But we find out all of these articles that this mining town has been abandoned, houses left the way that they were. It's a complete steal of Centralia. And then taking that into the Silent Hill territory, it's now the people who have stayed are having all of these visions and they're feeling like they're trapped in the town. They can't leave. The fog rolls in and they're stuck. It's mind-blowing how they've got this movie approved in the first place. So now we're stealing from Silent Hill and from Cabin in the Woods. We continue on with the story and we meet the doctor again, knowing now that he's not actually the gas station attendant. He is indeed the doctor. We come across a video of him doing these experiments on people who have landed in this house, really turning him into more of the villain. He's this almost manic doctor who wants to figure out what's going to press people to change into something that's not entirely human. So he's trapping these people in these rooms with just one other person and letting them naturally turn into the Wendigo. So the Wendigo is in the movie, but it's not, or in the video game, excuse me, but it is not from an experimentation perspective. It is truly getting lost in the woods. The story of the Wendigo, the actual folklore of the Wendigo is we are in the middle of absolutely nowhere, Yellow Jacket style. We're in the middle of nowhere. We got nowhere to go. We have nothing. We don't know where we are. And so the only way to survive is to basically eat each other. The more that you eat human meat, in the theory of the Wendigo, the more crazed you become. You turn into this animal. You turn into a Wendigo. So he's kind of taking that now in this movie sense, putting it in a room and then just watching these people evolve. So he now has a full-blown Wendigo just stored in this random house, basically waiting for the next person to come. If he was the one who was kind of taking care of this house all along and essentially trapping these people who are tourists, then turn all the lights on, then have all the water working. Just the inconsistencies really, really drive me crazy because it just shows such a lack of detail. So Clover then confronts the doctor. He says really the only way to live until dawn is that you actually have to face your fears. Clover, you've been missing your sister for a long time. You lost your mom. You've got really nothing left to live for. You tried to kill yourself a couple times now and it didn't work. So why do you want to live until dawn anyway? Why? So I can understand from that perspective why it has decent reviews. I think if they didn't tie it into this mental health awareness side of things, then this movie would have like a 2% on Rotten Tomatoes. But I think because they brought that up and it had this human element, that's what makes it a little bit more connected. But everything else and the ridiculousness of it is just really mind-blowing to me. So Clover, her friends, of course, live, escape. The doctor says that the knight at the very end of these 13 tries has to take some sort of sacrifice to be able to let everybody else go free. So she does kill him, which is absolutely fine. But other than that, like, this movie is trash. This movie is very, very bad. I would liken it to my watch of Night House. I was like, I cannot wait till this is over. I can't wait until I don't have to watch this again. I can't wait till I don't have to recommend this to anybody. And it's so, so disappointing because I will talk till I'm blue in the face about how much I love these games. And then the fact that at the end, we get these post-credit scene of looking at this CCTV and these people are driving up to this wintertime lodge, which is Until Dawn. So again, this is like before dawn. This is pre-Until Dawn. We don't have the same location. We don't have the same anything. We have a folder that has a homage to Josh in the game. We have the same doctor, and then we have this transitioning of the Wendigo. We do have a mining town in the game, but it's not collapsed or underground or anything. It's not stolen of Silent Hill or Centralia. So it's very bothersome. The people who were with me who went to see the movie from the Shivers group, they all enjoyed the movie as just more of this like campy horror movie because they hadn't played the games. Maybe I'm a little bit harsher because of how much I love the games and the stories that are literally written out for you. You can just pick them up and turn them into a movie, but I digress. So, getting into the actual rating itself. For the story itself, I would give it a 2 out of 5. It's not really original. It's we've seen it so many times of Wrong Turn, of House of Wax, of all of these people who are in these group of friends looking for someone in their friend group who has gone missing. Even the most recent Friday the 13th with the guy from Supernatural, it follows that same, like, have you seen my sister? So that I would give it 2. Originality, a hot fat 0. There is nothing original about this movie. There is nothing original, even if it was from the game. There's nothing that is a pure original thought. I really do believe that almost everything in this movie is stolen. For acting, this right off the bat is what almost got me because they were very bad actors in the beginning, especially with just their dialogue. But with the effects, they do a pretty good job. It is also just a little bit bothersome that this movie does feel like it is skewed slightly towards more of a male audience. Right in the beginning, we see Mel. We see her running through the woods and getting chased. And she has this very short skirt on, her shirt pulled down all the way, and her screams literally sound like moans. So it is a little bit sexualized in a way that I think is not needed whatsoever. It's subtle, but it's noticeable. So I think that plus their actual dialogue when they talk to each other, the friends in particular, acting's not great. So I'd give it a 3 out of 5 because, again, like, when they're actually in it, they're pretty good. For production, I would give it a 4 out of 5. I think the graphics were good, the characters were good, in terms of detail, like just their actual physicalities and things like that. The masks, the sets, things like that, it was pretty good. And then for scares, this is where I would I will give a slight, all right, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. It's not an inherently scary movie, but a lot of the effects, a lot of the scenes, a lot of the ways in which they die before dawn are good, and they're relatively scary. That scene where the girl who is this fake psychic is speaking the voices of all of these people who have gone missing. It's scary. So that I will give a slight edge to. I think that this is a movie that should be made for boy teenagers who have never seen a horror movie in their life ever before. I think that for somebody who is a hardcore horror fan, you're not going to like it. I promise. Take my word for it. You're not going to like it. I'm very, very disappointed. Even going into it with low expectations, I'm still really disappointed. I think this movie could have been an absolute gold star. Again, I love the games. The stories that are in the games are great stories. They're written very well. I wish they just took it and did that, but it is what it is. So, all in all, this gets a 2.6 out of 5. It is boring, stolen, not like the game at all. Even for as much as they're putting emphasis on the practicality of their effects, a lot of their effects are practical effects. We don't see a whole lot of them. You know, we catch a glimpse on the phone of some of the practical effects. We don't even see every single night that they're trying to survive. So the inconsistencies, the lack of detail, the lack of stealing, or the majority of stealing, I should say, all just leads to it being something that I would never recommend, and I'm very sad about. So hopefully the next movie that we see will be a gold star. Next one I believe is Final Destination and Hurry Up Tomorrow. I'm a big fan of The Weeknd. I did see The Weeknd's haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights a couple of years ago, and that was the best haunted house I've ever been in. So I do have high expectations for Hurry Up Tomorrow, even though it is coming from a pop star. So I think that one will be a nice surprise. But thank you for listening to this review of Until Dawn. If you've seen it, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, let me know what you're thinking and share your thoughts and notes in the comments below. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.